All right, you jackasses, we are live. Today we're going to be talking about Breonna Taylor, a little bit about Black Lives Matter, and why a whole lot of this is just some hocus pocus. This is Tony.
And Mike? Well, I'd like to talk about Breonna Taylor. Now, there are a lot of conflicting news reports about what happened. One thing it seems like that we do know for sure is that the boyfriend of Breonna Taylor shot at the cops, and the cops shot back at him. They didn't kill him, but they killed his girlfriend. And they had to serve a drug warrant for somebody else that they had already detained earlier that wasn't at the address. According to what the police say, they have video of Breonna Taylor engaged in the drug deals. This is what's alleged. And what's really disturbing to me is there's no body, there's no body, no camera footage of the body camera during when this was done.
All right, so we have the Tatum report here. What I pulled up was, I forget if there's a, no. So here's the thing. They conducted a raid. I think I'm on the right page.
Yeah, you are. Go ahead.
Conducted physical surveillance. No, this. Oh, actually, since we're here, I'll talk about this. So they did an investigation. I'm not going to go over the whole thing. I was looking for the specific page. I just set this up for the stream, guys. Hold on. So right here. They talk about going in to do the raid. They had a telephone pole. They put a camera in the telephone pole, and it was watching the trap house that people were coming in and out of. Okay? So here it says, all right, trying to find exactly where it was. All right, here, right here. It says, when the search warrant was executed at the address, Springfield Drive, which Breonna Taylor was listed on, an officer-involved shooting, an OIS they call it, I guess, occurred as a result of Breonna Taylor was killed. President signed the apartment at the time the search warrant was executed was Breonna Taylor and Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker, so for people who don't know, is a.k.a. Big Doug. That's his street name. Jamarcus Glover is Breonna Taylor's ex. The guy who you can see there on the right side of the screen says Jay Glover. He was the guy who was the drug dealer. He's the guy that she was in a relationship with and all that stuff. And her...
He's the guy they were looking for when they went there.
Her registered
but he had already moved out.
So let me explain. Her registered address was used as his registered address as a bank account for Chase Bank, where he was probably laundering his money through.
You don't know that, though, but
no,
go ahead.
It's true. It's a couple pages back. They said they raided a place that was a drug hangout or whatever. They seized, I think, crack cocaine. They found a piece of paper with her address listed on it and her name from Chase Bank.
All right, that's alleged. It still has to be proven, but go ahead.
No, it's in the report for the cops. It's a couple pages. It's not alleged. That's what happened.
Okay, go ahead.
This is a police report.
Okay.
So here's what happens. They go to her place. She is hanging out with Big Doug, a guy who was mentioned earlier in this. I'm not going to go over the whole thing. It would take too goddamn long. A guy who was working with Jamarcus Glover as the crack dealer at the trap house. So he's at Breonna Taylor's place, right? And here's what happens. So what it doesn't say here, it says it on the next page and all that. What happened is the cops come. They knock on the door first, and then, because it's a no-knock warrant, they shouldn't have to begin with, but they did not.
I got to interject. I got something that I read that's really important. It was a no-knock warrant, but before they actually did the raid, the boss of the police, the judge of it was changed it to state that they had a knock. Police saying they did knock, announced who they were, and when they did, he started firing shots inside. Go ahead.
Right. So they knocked on the door, and then they barged open the door. As they were barging open the door, Big Doug, who has a gun on him because he's a drug dealer, thought, uh-oh, that's a drug raid. No, not a drug raid. That's a bunch of drug dealers, rivals, who are coming to cap our asses. So he shot immediately at the people entering the house. Here's the thing. Apartment, whatever. He shot at the cops. Now, who's in the hallway at the time that he's shooting at the cops? Breonna. Breonna, I don't think, had a gun because they didn't find one on her. It doesn't mention it in here. Hold on. She gets shot in the crossfire because Big Doug first fires at the cops who are entering with a no-knock warrant. They then shoot back at Big Doug. She's in the crossfire. Now, you could say this is a wrongful death, but the thing is, if we, this time I will go back. You can see right here, you've been probably reading it. Go to Tatum, or actually go to, I'm an idiot. Go to this website. You see it right there? We're going to post it in the down below in the description once we're done with the live stream. They conducted all this research. Here's Breonna Taylor here. It's in. I read this before. It shows right here at the bottom. Read that.
It is important to note the PBI detectives have observed on the pole camera Breonna Taylor and a black Dodge Charger plate number pull up. They plenty of video evidence on film.
Her car.
Her
dress.
Yeah.
And her, because at the beginning
conducting drug transactions. Now, we're not saying anybody nobody deserves to die because of that. But Anthony, what you're not gonna like, but I gotta correct it, because some reports say that this guy, Big Doug, wasn't there. The boyfriend wasn't. He's the one that shot. Some reports are saying that Big Doug was attending another location hours before that, and he wasn't even there. So there's a lot of conflicting reports going on.
Shall we go back to the page where it says his full legal name? That was listed as the other person there besides Breonna Taylor. Which, by the way, they arrested Big Doug. She's dead, but he got arrested. He's sitting in jail probably waiting on the trial. I don't know when this was a couple years back, right? Or the early part of 2019, I think. Or 2020.
Well,
in January.
Big Doug was originally charged with assault of a police officer after the shooting or attempted murder. That charge was dropped.
Could he get charged with negligible homicide for her death because he's the reason she got shot in the first place?
I would think. I don't know
right?
if that's. I would think so, but I don't know.
Like a drunk driver's on the road and they swerve to avoid you, but you drive off the road and hit a tree. But
I don't think that's going to happen.
Responsible. Go ahead.
Obviously, but my biggest issue is this is why body cameras are so important. If the body cameras, if the police were wearing the body cameras and they were on, there'd be a lot less speculation about what went on because you would have it on video. This is why I think officers, if they don't have the body camera on, should be suspended for 90 days without pay. And next time they should be fired. You need to make sure you have it on, and this case would be a lot clearer.
Right. And if you take a look at this, the very beginning of this report, which is on the TatumReport.com, go ahead and check it out. This is the specific link that it goes to, though. I highly recommend checking out Tatum Report for Brandon Tatum. But the thing is, when you go to read this, I read over this. You can read over this as you're sitting there, pause it if you want to. It refers to the fact that an associate of Jamarcus Glover, somebody's brother who's an associate of Jamarcus Glover, was murdered. They go to an address, and the people who are at this address who are being questioned about this murder are Breonna Taylor and Jamarcus Glover.
Okay.
So, look, as far as it goes for that, that's not clear what happened because if you read over this too,
that has nothing to do with what.
It's alleged that they had involvement in the homicide. But for those of you who aren't aware, the date on this is 12/03/2016. So this is dating back 4 years.
No, I'm not really. I mean, it's really confusing on what happened that day.
Other than what it says in the police report, though.
Other than it says in the police report, witness accounts dispute that. Witness accounts are not reliable anyways. But it's a little confused. What
about Doug? That's the thing I don't get. If I may, I'm going to let you go for a second, but just give me one. If Doug's there and he's the reason why she's dead, how come nobody in the mainstream media has approached Doug?
Big
Doug, sorry. Go ahead.
He might have refused to talk to people. That's a good question. I heard that he issued a statement to the police at the time of his arrest that he used her as a human shield. It is kind of interesting that if
he said that?
Allegedly, the police saying that he said that. Now, again, let me say this one more time. If this was on, the body cameras were on, you would have them on video saying this would be no dispute. It is kind of interesting, though, that she's supposedly close to him in the hallway. She gets shot 8 times, and he doesn't get hit at all. So it would lead someone to believe that he did use her as a human shield. Mm-hmm. I don't know. But I don't know that it happened, but it makes sense to be so close to her. She gets hit so many times, and he doesn't get hit at all.
Well, because in the report, it only mentions the fact that they do execute that warrant, and she dies. It's not, and the funny thing is, they say it's an officer-involved shooting, which is a very generic term, because that could mean a number of things happened, and this person got shot by the cops. It's not just, for those of you who don't understand, these terms are generally set up by the cops, because when you have to get into the details and they're writing this report, they have to go, Subject A, Doug, shot at the cops. Subject B, Breonna, got shot in the midst of a crossfire because Subject A shot at us. That could be in there. It could also be the human shield, which you said. But we won't know.
And that's what I've heard. And I've read that in numerous reports. Now, I don't know if that happened. It does seem like it seems so messed up situation that happened that I think that's why that they settled the lawsuit the city did. I don't know whether or not they should have settled. That's for jury to decide, not for me. There's a lot of conflicting information, so I
You
don't.
don't have to sit so close. I set up so you can
I
sit
think
there.
that's why the city didn't fight it, because if they had body cameras, really, if it's without body cameras, is what his word against the police word. So one thing is for sure, though, I don't think the cops should be charged criminally, because if they announced it and he's firing through the door and they fire back at him, what are they supposed to do? So this no-knock warrant thing, it's going to Ron Paul sponsored legislation to get rid of no-knock warrants. I don't agree with getting rid of a no-knock warrant, because for people that are armed with weapons and have drugs, and they know you're coming, they're going to try to shoot you.
Right. Because also in this report it mentions that when they raided another place, they found a bunch of drugs and a bunch of guns. The thing is, the cops are going to go to a judge and be like, hey, we need a warrant. Here's the facts of the case. We went to this address that's connected to these other addresses. They have weapons. They have drugs. This is dangerous. We might need a no-knock warrant.
If they think they have drugs, why can't they just shoot tear gas through the windows and smoke them out?
Because you have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt if they are actually drug dealers.
Yeah, but they would be crying. Their eyes would be bright. They'd all be alive, though.
They need to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that they are that to begin with. But then,
I
when
know.
they get these warrants, they also have this risk factor. I'm going to be the cop who's kicking the door and going in first. I turn a corner the wrong way, boom, I get shot.
Yeah, but
my other friend behind me turns a corner the wrong way, boom, he's shot.
Yeah, but the tear gas would smoke them out, and it's safer for everybody.
But then they have all this stuff about whether or not they're legally allowed to use this stuff, but also, I think in this case, yeah, they probably could have went about it differently, 100%. The thing is, I don't think no-knock warrants are a bad thing, because it's like, if I picture this in my head, you're going in somewhere.
It's supposed to be safer for everybody.
There's dangerous criminals who are willing to shoot at cops, and you're like, hey, we're going to catch them by surprise. We're going to go in.
They usually
do. For everyone out, you're trying to avert casualties on the end.
Confrontation.
Right? No, it's averting casualties. That's
Yes.
literally what these are set up for.
Yeah, but at 4 or 5...
That's the parameters you're trying to achieve. I don't want my guys to die. And no offense, I want these scumbags to go to jail and serve time.
Well, yeah,
I don't want them to die.
they do it. They usually do a no-knock.
Serve time in jail and rot.
They usually do a no-knock warrant at 4 or 5 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why they do it then, presumably
When you're sleeping.
And the guy's going to resist a lot less, and nobody's going to get hurt.
Right.
So
the funny thing is that I'm gonna take a couple minutes of a break, guy. We'll be right back. All right, you jackasses, we're back, and this is the thing that I wanted to bring up because a lot of people talk about this stat. Hey, we're on. Pay attention.
I'm listening.
All right. So the number of people shot to death by the police in the United States from 2017 to 2020. Okay, this is by race. Okay? Yeah, whatever. Okay? I'm going to let the numbers speak for themselves so that people understand this.
Well, the white people shot statistics since when? Or what are the years again?
So this is from 2017 is the blue, and go from the blue here all the way over to the right is the red. So as recently as 2020.
So in 2017, it was 457 white people shot, 223 black, and then 2018 it was 223 white people, black were 209.
No.
I'm sorry, I'm reading it wrong. Read it.
The first column is white people, and it's by year. And the second one is black, Hispanic, and then other.
But where's the year?
The year is represented by the...
Oh, okay, I see. All right. I see. All right.
Here's the thing. If you look at this, does the graph not go downwards?
Yeah. Twice as many white people shot by cops as black people.
So it's funny because in 2019, there was kind of a dip, and then 2018 for black people there was a dip, and then in 2019 it went up, and now in 2020 it's below the averages for the last 3 years.
Now, with that being said, nobody should be getting shot by cops no matter what color you are.
Well, let's time out and say that people who shoot at the cops are crazy.
Yeah, I know.
A danger to themselves.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying, but
I'm saying normal, everyday people who are just
stop. Well, stop. Let me finish.
I'm just saying,
nobody should be getting shot by the cops. It's sad when it happens, but not on all these. Most of the cops do a good job every day.
Right.
There are some bad apples. When you have a large group of people doing any kind of a job, most of the people are going to do okay, good, and they're going to be some bad apples. That doesn't mean all cops are bad.
Well, the thing I keep talking about is the training factor. How well are you being trained? We talked about this last time. We had to delete the podcast. We had some technical issues. We fixed it this time, as you can see. But it's like, look, I go to the military. I get trained a certain way. I have to have interactions with people inside of a war zone. Somehow, I managed never to shoot innocent people in a war zone. Okay, so I'm in the middle of a very dangerous environment. There's bombs. There's people who want to shoot me in the face. Okay, I could shoot them back. But I pull up. I have a pair of zip-tie handcuffs. Maybe I arrest some people. They go to the military prison, whatever the jail, whatever it is on base. Okay. Or they're just detained for a while. So I'm able to do my job without killing people. And for the most part, I'm in the most stressful environment you could be in.
All right.
You work a 9 to 5 as an officer, or more hours than that, because they do. And it's like, well, how well are you trained versus this jackass who shot somebody? The question I always have is, they talk about, well, white people get arrested, that doesn't happen. Question.
Yes, it does.
What's the difference between the white guy who got shot, or I should say the black guy who got shot, and the white guy who didn't get shot? It's the police and how they were trained. People talk about, well, it should be common sense. You do this, you do that way. Look at it this way. You're taught at a Wendy's to put the burgers in a certain order, right? Okay, what about the guy who got trained at Wendy's and he threw the burgers at people? This is real simple. Real simple. The guy who got trained right is going to do the right thing. Fuck all that moral bullshit.
Well, there were a couple of things that need to change. One thing that needs to happen nationwide, every cop and every cruiser should carry a beanbag gun. So maybe instead of shooting somebody, get shot with a beanbag. Get shot with the beanbag on the nuts or on the tit or on the... What I'm saying, they're going to shoot you. It's going to be painful, but you're going to have a sore and have to put some ice on it for a couple of weeks, but everybody's going to be alive. If maybe they shot Jacob Blake, they tased him twice, he didn't go down. Maybe with the beanbag he wouldn't have gone down, but a beanbag is a better option than a gun. Another thing that needs to happen, body cameras have to be on all the time. There needs to be swift punishment if you do not have it on. I don't want to hear you forgot, it was a charge, this and that. I think the first time, you're 90 days without pay, to spend it without pay, and the next time you're fired if you don't have it on.
Here's my thing. I had this idea. They talk about these non-lethal options all the time, but then you hear the case of, well, we had to shoot him because we deployed 2 fucking tasers, and this guy kept going.
Then you got to shoot him. I mean, I don't know what
hold on. You got to rant. Let me get my space here. So here's the question. Why don't we have a non-lethal option that completely incapacitates someone?
A taser, that's what it's supposed to be.
No. I mean, just knocks him unconscious. Like Mike Tyson is just there in case he needs to come in and right in the fucking jaw.
Well, the taser works 99% of the time.
And a Mike Tyson punch would work 100% of the time.
All right.
I'm just saying.
But if you taser someone twice and they don't go down, if you don't shoot, tasing them twice and they don't go down, you punching them in the head, or putting them at a headlock because they're going to put them down.
What I'm saying is that how come in this field, we can, put it this way, we can design missiles that shoot out of a fucking robot in the sky that can kill a terrorist with minimal impact to civilians around them. But we can't figure out a non-lethal option that actually works 100% of the time on all suspects, ranging in all physical toughness factors.
We
can't make something that straight up just takes you out. Doesn't kill you, but makes you unconscious or incapacitated.
We need to have maybe the military design something that is that is not as lethal as a taser, but works a lot faster. It drops you the first time.
How about something that has a guaranteed success rate?
Should come back the second it touches you, in a second you drop. You're incapacitated. A few minutes later you wake up, you're fine. But in those few minutes they can put the cuffs on you, which it's going to drop you the first time.
Don't hit the table. Careful. I know you're passionate about this, but careful.
I'm wondering if a taser doesn't take you down. I mean, shit.
Well, I had a suggestion.
Jacob Blake wasn't a heavy-set guy.
No, he's a skinny dude.
No, he was a normal. He had a normal frame.
He's skinny.
They say they tased him twice. That's if they did. I have a hard time believing
the other thing is
they
that
tased him twice. It didn't go down.
The taser has to make it through clothing. There's no guarantee it will. As well as the fact there's no guarantee that someone's going to get shocked by electricity and be like, oh, I need to stop dead in my tracks. My muscles are contracting.
No, if they tase him twice and he's going to reach for a knife, if you're him and you're going to reach for a knife and there's cops around, what do you think is going to happen? You know they're going to shoot yourself. That's kind of...
Okay. No, I got you. But my thing is,
that's kind of dumb on his part.
I'm asking the question, why don't we have something that just immediately incapacitates someone? Apparently, pepper spray and tasers...
Not effective all the time.
Not effective all the time. You can build up a tolerance to pepper spray. The same way you can build up a tolerance to spicy food. Because it's in the same market. Here's the thing. I had this idea. It's gonna be a little bit of a comedy thing, but it's funny. So you remember Demolition Man with Wesley Snipes and Sylvester Stallone?
Yeah.
Remember how they had that rod, the glow rod, that when they just touched the side of someone's head, they went out like a light?
You need something like that.
You need something like that. Imagine all these interactions that get super violent, and we're just like, doop, takes a nap. Pick you up, put you in the squad car, bring you to the station.
The point would be nobody would get hurt on either side. Somebody might piss or shit their pants.
It'd be funny.
But if you pissed your pants and you were fine, it would be funny you shit your pants.
Oh my God, it would.
But everybody could laugh because you would be okay.
Yeah.
And the only thing it would have is if you committed a crime, the alleged crime, dealing with that. But you would be, and behold, you'd be alive, no bruises.
This guy was shooting at people, and then we just did one of these right to the side of the head. He passed out, put handcuffs on him, put him in the squad car. He woke up at the station. He was like, "What the fuck happened?"
But nobody shot.
Right.
To me, that would be the ultimate goal. And I think from now on, not every cop is Derek Chauvin. Not every case is George Floyd.
But how many police chiefs are something? I forgot his first name. Arredondo. Remember the guy we covered in one of the first podcasts we did.
Actually, I don't remember him. I'm sorry. Should I have?
Hold on, guys. All right, guys, we got it. This guy right here, Medaria Arredondo, who's a black guy. For everyone out there who wants to claim this is all the big bad white people, us, the racist fault. Black guy, Minneapolis police chief. numerous. Here's the thing. We brought this up before. I don't feel like looking forward to getting no offense, guys, but they had Derek Chauvin and Tal, the other guy, with the George Floyd thing, which was months ago. Y'all saw it here on the podcast. Numerous offenses, numerous times, where if you were a police chief and you knew what you were doing, unlike this jackass, you would have went, hey, Derek, Tal, you're fired. Because the first fucking time this happened, I should have been like, you know what? 1 strike, you're out. Criminals can get 3 strikes. Cops get 1.
Now, with that being said, play devil's advocate here. I'm not saying I don't agree with some of what you're saying. Derek Chauvin had 17 different incidents, has been in trouble 17 times. At no job, no matter where you work, are you in trouble 17 times, you still have a job. It's 3 strikes and you're gone. Mm-hmm. So this doesn't have to do with skin color. What this has to do with is police cover for other police. No matter what they do, they cover for them, and that has to change.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. But we're not done yet. We still got time to go. We got other things to cover.
I'm done.
I figured we could bring this up too. So her family is getting a $12 million settlement. Now,
it doesn't bring it back.
My opinion, in this particular case, you could argue wrongful death.
Yes, absolutely.
If Doug's family had any money, you should go after that too, because they could put it this way. In this situation, they're going to sue the city. It's obvious. They're not suing a drug dealer who shot at the cops, and the reason why she's dead is because of him. Right. He has no money.
I think the city bears some culpability, there's no question.
Right, but a $12 million lawsuit?
Well, I mean, yeah, but from now on...
I mean, I think it feels unnatural to even talk about it, because I'm like, are they putting a $12 million price on somebody's life, essentially? Is that what they're putting this as, like a price tag to how much he was worth or something? It's really weird.
No, they probably asked for more than that. You'll never find out.
Well, I think number one, they had to cover lawyer fees. We're not hurrying up, guy. This is a podcast, all right?
I'm going to spend all day. I'm going to go to bed.
All right, we're going to keep going, all right? Relax. But here's the thing. A $12 million lawsuit is a pretty hefty price to pay. And they're going to cover, of course, the other ones, Tamir Rice, and what was it? The fucking wrongful of Edwin Chandler. It is what it is, guys. But this is a video that I wanted to bring up because, in case I looked up his name before this guy, my memory is dog shit. This is Andrew Bull. Go ahead and check out his videos. Sky News Australia. I highly recommend watching this guy in particular. Let's go ahead and take a look.
First, and before I answer a question last week from Wa'id Ali, I'll answer that after the first interview, about the bullying that we now see by race protesters. I was amazed, in a way, amazed but not surprised, should I put it like that, but what I saw at the football last weekend, every single player and every single umpire at every single AFL game on their knees in support of Black Lives Matter, in support of the Black Lives Matter movement. And same at NRL games, every single player kneeling. Not one of the games I saw saying, well, actually I don't agree, I'll stand. Don't you think that's amazing? Every single player agreeing with the Black Lives Matter agenda. Not a single, not one dissenter. I mean, these are guys who cannot even agree to sing the national anthem. And yet, they all managed to agree on this. Amazing. I mean, think, would the fans be 100% okay with this knee, putting down the knee like that? I strongly doubt that. I doubt very much that they'd at least privately agree with the whole Black Lives Matter hoopla and the agenda. Now, let's be clear what the agenda is. It is that our police are racist, killing lots of Aborigines in jail. And they should be defunded. That's the official Black Lives Matter position. And as I've demonstrated with statistics, it's beyond argument. This movement is based on a lie. Aboriginal prisoners are actually less likely than white prisoners to die in jail. And almost all die of natural causes as well as suicide. Police are not in there murdering away. Yet, not a single AFL or NRL player dared to stay on their feet. Not one. They all fell to their knees, every single one of them, out of fear. Out of fear. Some of them, for sure. Out of fear, some of them, about what the media would do to them if they stood up and defended our police. Out of fear of these sponsors, week, who'd drop them, petrified of bad publicity and the Twitter mob. And out of fear that the clubs would drop them too. Led a lot by cowards. And that, I'm afraid, is where we've got to. What you saw on the weekend was where we've got to.
I'm going to leave it there on this particular video. We got a couple more things to cover. I know. You're all antsy and you pants.
I'm ready to, guy, I'm done. I'm
We're not
giving
done
you 30 minutes.
Hold on. Right, but he's right. Coming off of what he was saying, I think it's stupid that a lot of people are getting upset at the whole idea that everything here is racist. Saying that the cops are supposed to be doing their jobs. You cheer up there. This is just for everyone out there, okay? This is for all y'all to stare at. Go ahead and take a look. Okay? Right? Somebody brings up statistics based in 2018. Of course, these numbers now would be way higher due to all of the crime rate surging. There you go. Yeah, take a look for your fucking self. You don't want to hear it because it's all bad and everything, racist, whatever. Okay. Here you go. There's raw data, statistics, numbers. Now, these are different because it's 2018, but as close as 2 years ago. Go ahead and look. Look right here. You know what my favorite one of these is? Is when we come down to this, it's sad, isn't it? That you think about, right, this particular here, murder and non-negligent manslaughter for all races. White, 5,280. Black, 6,380.
American
That's
Indian.
1,100 more.
Yeah, but the white thing is the white people are almost as high as the black people on the murder and manslaughter. It's not much of a difference.
Okay, but then we go to
Why
this.
the American Indian, the Asian, so much lower?
But then I want to go to this and ask you the question. If we make up 76% of the population, it would make sense that we have 5,000 murders a year in our community based on race and crime. But they only make up 13%, and less than that 13% commits those 6,000 murders. Okay?
Okay.
And I'm just saying, guys, this can change. This can get better. And I bet you that if we continue in the direction of, as much as you hate the president we have, the trend that we're going in terms of being more Republican as a country and conservative, if we do head in this direction versus the direction we've been going in for years, Obama had 8 years. Chicago became Chirac under his administration. When's the last time you've heard that term in reference to Chicago under Trump?
If the Democrats win election, well, basically, no matter who wins the election, if you defund the police, all these numbers are going to skyrocket. You need law and order. If anything, you need more police.
All right, guys. On that,